Do you want me to?
Am I audible, sir?
Yes. Did you get the PowerPoint?
Sir, you are not audible.
Why am I not audible? Hello? What happened? Okay. Full screen. Okay. Yeah. All right. Audible. What happened? Apply. Turn on camera. Use the phone now. Not the phone. No. Not the phone. Change layout. It's not. I'm not. You're not hearing me? No. Hello.
Yes, Professor Mahmood, sir, you are not audible, sir, at present.
Why
Your voice is not coming to us.
Why is that? I don't understand. But could it be? Let me just check.
आपने जो हमारी मीट का लिंक है वो इससे ही खोला हुआ है। नहीं, वो देखो सर, मैं अनम्यूट किया। नहीं, अभी अनम्यूट रखिए। अभी मैं म्यूट म्यूट किया हुआ है। नहीं, पहले तो अनम्यूट था।
Can you hear me now? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah, sir, continue, please.
Thank you.
मैं इधर से बंद कर दूँ।
Sorry about that. Yeah.
क्या
All right.
किया? हम किससे पता चल रहा है? अच्छा, ये इसको बंद करो।
Let me just see. Okay. Can we have the okay, the PowerPoint? Okay, this in the Maragon. Oh, okay. Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you, sir.
And you can see me also?
Yes, sir. You're
Okay,
fully
good.
visible.
Okay. So let me know when to start.
Yes, sir. First of all, I welcome you all. And as per our tradition, Central University of Punjab's tradition innovation. Please raise for university anthem, sir. For 2 minutes.
पंजाब केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय संस्कृतियों का मिलन बिंदु विज्ञान दृष्टि धारण करके विद्यार्थी इस फुलवारी से मेरे देश का प्रगट सारा ज्ञान विज्ञान का मधुर संगम जीवन मूल्यों का सहारा देश की समझ बढ़ाता भावी पीढ़ी का ये माता विश्व बंधुत्व का भाव सिखाता दिशा रहे तेरा मान रहे पंजाब केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय पंजाब केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय पंजाब केंद्रीय
I can't believe this. Long time not to go I've got this place up in today, but you know, when they were talking about, sorry, I'm going to give a lecture. After the lecture, we'll discuss. Yeah. Hello? Can we start now?
Yes, yes. First of all, I request Professor Manisha Diman, IQAC Director, to please deliver welcome address.
So good afternoon, everyone. So it's our proud privilege to have you here, sir. So Professor Mamu, it's a warm welcome from all of us from Central University of Punjab. Just to share that we have Institutional Innovation Council in our university, which is trying to generate some small events, and we are doing some small events by which we can generate awareness about startups, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And it's a new university, and you know that in higher education institutions, the culture of innovation and entrepreneurship is very low as compared to the technical institutions. So these institutional innovation councils, they organize such events so that we can have some eminent personalities from various fields who can interact with the students and give their words of wisdom, share their experiences with us. So it's a part of that event only. We have invited you. And I'm sure that the students and participants who are attending this webinar will be much benefited with your kind words and your expertise, because I've seen your CV. It's such a tremendous CV, and I'm sure that everyone we are looking forward to have the seminar from your side and hear from you. Again, I welcome you all. I welcome the participants. Thank you very much, sir. So over to you, Dr. Sandeep.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you for wonderful welcome address. Now the time is to introduce our distinguished speaker, Professor Mamu Mulchi. Professor Mamu Mulchi holds a DPhil in Science, Technology and Innovation for Development from the University of Sussex. He is currently DST NRF Research Professor of Innovation Studies at the Swanage University of Technology. He is also a NRF rated research professor. He is a fellow of the South African Academy of Science and African Academy of Sciences. He is a currently adjunct professor at Adama Science Technology University, Ethiopia. He has also been Senior Research Associate at the SLEMTD program and now has become Senior Research Associate at TMCD Center of Oxford University, collaborating with researchers on diffusion of innovation in low-income countries and potential new research area of Africa, China, industry, high technology sectors. He has held various positions, among which Director of Research Program on Civil Society and African Integration, and then University of Natal Honorary Professor at Zhejiang University in China, Assistant Professor in Amsterdam University, Visiting Professor at Carleton College, USA, Principal Lecturer at Middlesex University, and many, many more. In shortened words, if I will say that his accomplishments cannot be described in words, and that's why in very short, now I am inviting, by not taking much time of the audience, and I am now inviting Professor Mamu Muchiji, please address and enrich your experience with the title Creativity, Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, I sincerely appreciate all of you for all the hard work you are doing. And I think what you have started is very, very exciting. At the moment, I'm in what they call Bio Africa Convention here in Durban in South Africa, where in the old time, your great leader Mahatma Gandhi was here, and his family is also still here. And we are having an amazing conference now. So I am now making the time with you, even though I am supposed to also give another lecture later on in the afternoon. So, but the key thing they were all discussing is about exactly what you want, which is how do we motivate the young graduates to be innovators, inventors, creators, venture startup starters, and so on. That's what we need to do, and I think it's a very interesting discussion that they are doing. But let me now go to introduce to you why this is important. The other critical point I must mention to you is in South Africa, we have a course on creativity, innovation, technology, venture creation. And the students, when they do, they're all engineering students, but by the time they finish their course, one of the assignments they get is for them to set up venture startups. And we used to get funding from the Africa Entrepreneurship Award, and I was a mentor there. So the funding we used to get, we support them with funding, and they start up, and a number of them have now become really very amazing. They have set up their own firms, their own businesses, and so on. And it's very, very interesting to how do we also create in the education system, as you have the Bangalore model in India and Silicon Valley in America. Is there any chance also to really make in all the universities some way by which the youth become, when they graduate, by the time they graduate, they're able to be not job seekers, but job creators, something like that. Even though they may get other jobs, they can also create things, so they can multiply the activity set. Something like that is what we have been doing. So let me just go through the PowerPoint I present to you, and I'll go through it faster because of the time. So let me just start with the opportunity, inspiration, and then I'll continue with with what is social innovation. There is a difference between innovation, social innovation, and innovation, and social entrepreneurship. There's a difference between just being entrepreneurs and also social entrepreneurs, and what are the characteristics of social entrepreneurs, and what are the paths to realize social entrepreneurship of hope, and what are some of the global trends in venture creation. And then I think I'll just then finalize my presentation to you. So inspiration, opportunities for social entrepreneurs may often appear like threats to others. A bad idea with a champion is better than a good idea without a champion. The most powerful force for change in the world is a new idea in the hands of a leading social entrepreneur. Not purely charity or purely commercial. Give one, take one. How do you create a system and a mindset that allows you to create something, all right, and to give something, also to take something? How do you do that? So just to see that, I just give you an example of some of the young people also doing different things in the rural areas. For example, in South Africa, you have urban areas and then you have rural areas. In the rural areas, in the townships, many of the young people have difficulties actually getting into real areas where they can actually develop some new enterprises. So opportunities for social entrepreneurs may often appear, like, as I said, this poverty is not only a lack of money, it's a lack of sense of meaning. And that sense of meaning is critically important for people. One of the newest figures to emerge on the world stage in recent years is the social entrepreneur. It is no use sitting around, dreaming up fantastic ideas unless you are prepared to do the hard work of making things happen. Let's go for doing, action-driven by a creative imagination and innovation for new ventures. So creativity is contagion. Pass it on, says Albert Einstein. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science. So to be creative, you have to contribute something different from what you have done before. Your results need not be original to the world. Few results truly meet that criterion. In fact, most results are built on the work of others. So when we want to help the poor, we usually offer them charity. Most often we use charity to avoid recognizing the problem and finding a solution for it. Charity becomes a way of shrugging our responsibility. Charity is no solution to poverty. Charity only perpetuates poverty by taking the initiative away from the poor. Charity allows us to go ahead with our own lives without worrying about those of the poor. It appeases our conscience. This is Muhammad Yunus, banker to the poor, micro-lending and the battle against world poverty. He's a Nobel Prize winner. He's from your part of the world. So this is what he says. Don't go for charity, go for venture creation, for job creation, for entrepreneurship, for innovation. This is what is being suggested. Too many people still act as if the private sector and the social sector should operate on different axes, where one is all about money and the other is all about serving society. A better approach is to integrate these missions with business that are not for profit and social service groups with their own earned income all contribute to positive, durable, and significant social change. So very important thing also how to interlink, the different sectors, the private sector, all right, the communities, the rural areas and the urban areas, the informal and the formal economy, all right, innovation under the radar and innovation above the radar. How do we really try to bring in new approaches by which the interlinkages actually generate an output where poverty is eradicated and becomes zero? Something like that is what we need to think. One of the newest figures to emerge in the world stage in recent years is the social entrepreneur. This is usually someone who burns with desire to make a positive social impact on the world, but believes that the best way of doing it is, as the saying goes, not by giving poor people a fish and feeding them for a day, but by teaching them to fish in hopes of feeding them for a lifetime. I have come to know several social entrepreneurs in recent years, and most combine a business school brain with a social worker's heart. The triple convergence and the flattening of the world have been a godsend for them. Those who get it are adapting to it, all right? And they have begun launching some very innovative projects. This is Thomas L. Friedman, The World is Flat, A Brief History of the 21st Century. This is where I quoted him from that. Very interesting book. The distribution of wealth has been steadily polarizing over the last couple of generations. The impact of this process is that poorer segments of society need a major infusion of new talent and new initiatives. The old strategies are no longer sufficient. Nations need social entrepreneurs as much as they need new captains of industry and dynamic civil servants. Can you imagine? Social entrepreneurship, all right, is critically important. Social innovation is very critically important. This is not just innovation to just make market advantage, commercial advantage, narrow economic advantage, but also social gain, economic gain, health gain, education gain, yeah, and environmental safety gain. All these things we need to actually find ways by which, by creating this kind of social entrepreneurial agenda and vision, we can actually create the human's mindset and the paradigm shift so that the activities we do actually preserve and save, make security for peace and justice for everyone becomes a reality. That's what I think that's what's happening. So entrepreneurial quality is by far the toughest criterion for social entrepreneur. For every 1,000 people who are creative and altruistic and energetic, there's probably only one who fits this criterion, or maybe even less than that. By this criterion, we do not mean someone who can get things done. There are millions of people who can get things done. There are very, very few people who will change the pattern in the whole field. This is also what Bill Dayton said. So, over the past century, researchers have studied business entrepreneurs extensively. In contrast, social entrepreneurs have received little attention. Historically, they have been cast as humanitarians or saints, and stories of their work have been passed down more in the form of children's tales than case studies. While the stories may inspire, they fail to make social entrepreneurs' methods comprehensible. One can analyze an entrepreneur, but how does one analyze a saint? So David Borgeson, How to Change the World, Social Entrepreneurs and the Power of New Ideas. Very interesting. Don't call them saints. They should be also really hardworking, all right, job creating, entrepreneurial, innovative, inventive, creative ventures, startup creators. So social entrepreneurs are like that, not to be seen like charity givers and so on. So the first and the most obvious test of a true social entrepreneur is, are they really possessed by an idea? The idea making it happen across society is something they are married to in the full sense of the word. One key test of that test is this. Is this an idea that you see growing out of their whole life? I get very, very suspicious when I see someone who had an idea 2 years ago. It just doesn't ring true, because with the typical entrepreneur, you can see the roots of the interest when they are very young. There's a real coherence to people's lives. Very interesting. This is again Bill Dayton. Very interesting even when you are young. When you're, when I was young, I was in the rural areas, and I used to really like how to protect animals and so on, and the cows, cattle, and everything like that. And then when I went to the school in the university, whatever, then I became also very, the way I was looking after the cows, I wanted to look after the books also. I mean, you become like that, and then eventually you develop a culture, a view, a pattern, a practice, and a way of life that actually motivates you to actually be creative and innovative. So people think entrepreneurs are all about fame and money. I was never in for either, and will never be. This is a much bigger fight. This is very, very interesting. It is not so much when you create something, it's not for fame or anything. It's more what you create, what you serve, what you produce, and what you generate also supports and facilitates and makes contributes to making for a great country like India. You should make zero poverty. Nobody should be poor. Nobody should be a beggar. Something like that is what you should be. You should have a motivation, a vision. So your entrepreneurial culture should be actually to be doing this elimination of all this poverty. So education which does not enhance your livelihood is like glass eye which does not see. So even the education you learn, the things you do, must be something that really expands your vision, your scope of imagination. Something like that is what you need. It's no use sitting around dreaming of fantastic ideas unless you are prepared to do the hard work of making things happen. So let's go for doing action driven by creative imagination, innovation for new ventures, social entrepreneurship of hope to create zero unemployment, zero poverty, and the prevailing inequalities of some people being very rich, but a lot of people being very poor is not right. This has to change in the world. So we have, for example, just to give you a few examples, I'm pretty sure we could do the same study for India. Data on youth unemployment. What is the data? Africans, both female and male, are defined as youth if they are between 5 and 35 years old. The youth in Africa is now 65% of the African population. The statistics suggest a rich supply and source of Africa's workforce is the youth. You see, the youth is critically important. The change makers and game changers are the youth. If we don't make the youth entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, all right, social innovators, and if we don't have that culture, we really engage them even from the education, from kindergarten to when they reach whatever level, then we have a challenge. We'll always have a challenge. So the problem is many young people enter the workforce from as young as 5 years old, particularly in agriculture. This is what the World Bank says about sub-Saharan Africa. In Africa, youth employment in traditional informal economy remains still very high. But on the average, 70% of the African youth subsist daily on less than $1. You see, this is what this is the Africa Economic Outlook. And data on youth, it hasn't changed. The youth unemployment is actually growing. You know, even the data I got, it's a bit many years back, still it's very high, the youth unemployment. So true unemployment rates vary regionally, but in Africa, it is say 60% of the unemployed are youth. For example, where I am now in South Africa, the youth unemployment is very, very high. They say 37% of the young people in South Africa are unemployed. That's what they say. So youth unemployment rates are double those of adult unemployment in most African countries. This is, so we have a problem. Unemployed, unemployable, continued skills mismatch in Africa. This also applies even in South Africa. Skills mismatch. The existing mismatch between skills produced and skills not uptaken in Africa is indeed a problem that needs resolution. The biggest asset of an economy is its human resources. The emergence of skill-based biased technological change has hampered the growth of African countries that did not develop them or reduce them to rely on remote coaching. So, youth skills. In a report entitled Education Skills Mismatch, the African Economic Outlook reported that in South Africa, with 3 million young people not in education, employment, and training, and 600,000 unemployed university graduates, versus 8,000 vacancies. In other words, this is the African Development Bank. You know, there's mismatch means there may be companies that want to employ them, but they don't know the graduates that have the skills for them. Can you imagine? There's no connection, there's no interaction. So the interaction should have been, there should be an applied science approach, all right? There should be a relationship between industry and the university. When we teaching too, there should be interactions. If there's no interaction, then the students, when they graduate, they seek jobs, but there are companies that want to employ them, but they don't know each other. There could be a mismatch. So this is very, very sad. In Egypt also, about 1.5 million young people are unemployed, while at the same time, private sector firms cannot fill 600,000 vacancies. Hence, this calls for a shift in skills development, as well as innovative thinking. This in turn requires skills planning, which involves interaction between learning institutions. Decision makers in government must take cognizance of the strategic importance of expanding on research and development to support the government's social and economic agenda. So that's what it is. So key issues: building youth social entrepreneurship. Youth social entrepreneurs can drive social innovation and transformation in various walks of life by building strong and sustainable organizations. Now, there's an organization called Decency Street Foundation, new kind of rehabilitation program for substance abusers, former fellows, and others who have hit rock bottom. Place for them to live and work together and to be empowered and to find their own solutions. Since 1971, 14,000 individuals have changed their lives. Another example is bank owned by borrowers and not lenders. This is very interesting. In using social entrepreneurs. In Cape Town, South Africa, is home of the world-renowned Chale campaign. This incredible enterprise was initiated by 5 young girls who decided to raise funding for a motorized wheelchair for one of them. They call it Chale Mycroft. All between the ages of 6 and 12, the girls produced and sold cards and pottery through which they met their target of $20,000 in less than 2 months. So the Chale campaign has since grown to become a significant socially entrepreneurial force with its own vision to mobilize the minds and bodies of children with disabilities and to normalize society through advocacy and education programs events. Every year it assists more than 3,000 children through its well-designed and multifaceted program. This is interesting. Instead of doing it like charity, you do it like, you see, you create something like a business, a startup, and you develop it, and then you promote it. You see, very fascinating. So you create social entrepreneurs. So innovation for social entrepreneurship. Innovation refers to process where people do new things, or do things in new ways, and learn by doing new things. Innovation in this broad sense is at the very core of development in all countries at all levels of income. Building formal and informal institutions that support interactive learning is a key challenge. The most challenging task in countries like South Africa is to find effective ways to upgrade the capacity of users and to stimulate the demand for knowledge. So, creativity for social entrepreneurship. The rise of creativity necessary for developing innovation. Innovation occurs when innovators accept they can be creative, are able to question traditional assumptions, are willing to expand their problem-solving styles, are open to employ creativity techniques, are adept at thinking in new ways or out of the box. Creativity for social innovation ventures. To create social ventures, entrepreneurship is needed. Entrepreneurship is the practice of applying entrepreneurial skills, an approach within a venture or a firm that exists already. Entrepreneurship focuses on innovation and creativity by transforming an idea into an economically, socially profitable venture. Social venture creation, application of entrepreneurship, by applying innovation and creative thinking, by balancing risks against opportunities, by identifying opportunities, by selecting and creating new ventures. So very interesting. Application of entrepreneurship on existing firms and existing is very interesting, meaning you create more employment, more opportunities, but also you also create new social entrepreneurship too, which is a new one. All right, creativity to innovate social venture, learning how to innovate, identifying, selecting innovative projects, finding resources to do the innovative venture. Good innovative role models can help to realize well-defined goals. Good team possessing diverse skills, communication, open to new ideas, feel committed to their work. A venture that has a culture that supports creativity and communicates a shared vision of organization with a hybrid return, both social and economic. Very interesting. This new, so some hiccups, organizational impediments, internal political problems you could face, harsh criticisms of new ideas you could face, destructive internal competitions. You may face all these challenges, but as a social entrepreneur, you should try to find solutions. Avoidance of risk and overemphasis on the status quo. All right, workload pressures, expectations, distractions, extreme time pressure. You may face all this. But social entrepreneurship is much needed. The distribution of wealth has been steadily polarizing over the last couple of generations. The impact of this process is the poorer segments of society need a major infusion of new talent and new initiative. The old strategies are no longer sufficient. Nations need social entrepreneurs much as they need captains of industry, as I said before. So social entrepreneurship has change agents. Social value, not just private value. New ventures to realize the hybrid of social with private. Creativity, innovation, adaptation, and learning, continuing the process, the value chain, finding resources. This is critical. Finding resources is not easy, but when I do my course, my creativity technology venture creation course, I suggest the students, I want 2 things from you. One, I don't want you to do it individually. I want you to be a team. So to be a team, take time to know exactly how you are going to work together, not just for momentarily until you finish the class, but forever. How do you become friends like that? How do you value each other? So the other thing is, I will definitely find the resources for you, but you must also contribute something. If you contribute something, you get committed. So they raise funds also. It's amazing. Some of them even sold their cars their own cars to actually raise the funds to set up these venture startups. I was really impressed. Trust me, I was very happy to see that they do things like that. Fascinating things. So they are now doing it very, very practically. So work to serve by continuing successful outcome, social impact, business model, venture sustainability, combining business profit with non-profit support. So that's what you need. All ventures require investment. All ventures require return. Can we combine social and economic return as profit? Make profit also to define social gain, not just monetary gain. Who pays? How is the return shared? To continue and make social entrepreneurship venture to grow. Creativity, innovation, technology, venture soundness, all combined to sustain social entrepreneurship. So social innovations are both social in their ends, outcomes, and in their means. Social innovation can be defined as new ideas, products, services, and models that simultaneously meet social needs more effectively than alternatives and create new social relationships or collaborations. In other words, they are innovations that are both good for society and enhance society's capacity to act better than following pure and narrow economic calculation on return for investment. So social innovation is seen as a legitimate means to transform previously intractable social problems. Social innovation is a novel solution to a social problem that is more effective, efficient, sustainable, or just than existing solutions, and for which the value created accrues primarily to society as a whole rather than private individuals. So we define social innovations as new ideas, products, services, and more that simultaneously meet social needs and create new relationships or collaborations. In other words, they are innovations that are both good for society and enhance society's capacity to act. So social innovation is an initiative, product, or process or program that profoundly changes the basic routines, resources, and authority flows or beliefs of any social system. The social side of innovations, a way to highlight the creative changes in social arrangements required to adopt and diffuse new technologies. So social innovation can be very different class of innovation, distinct from, and in some cases, a reaction to technical and market-based approaches. Social innovation can also be seen as an inspiration or motivation to tackle global social problems. Who does social innovation? One view, social innovation as something exclusive to non-profit organizations or social entrepreneurs. Social innovation is open to all. What is relevant? Some people focus on how technical aspects of a solution or the process. So some examples of social innovation areas, there is a very diverse collection of examples of social innovation in the literature, from community gardens to initiatives to tackle global climate change. While this keeps the field of social innovation inclusive and reflects the complexity of the issues being explored, it means that exploring social innovation is not without its challenges. So what is social entrepreneurship? Social entrepreneurship is the marriage of good business principles with a desire to solve social problems, improve the environment, and empower communities and contribute to charity. It's all about creating double and triple bottom line companies that do well while doing good. So what is social entrepreneurship? Non-profits making profits. Profit makers showing they are not all in it for the money. Entrepreneurship that combines both monetary and social returns. Commercial entrepreneurship goes for monetary returns, social for both monetary and social returns. What is social entrepreneurship? Social entrepreneurship is the activity of establishing business ventures to achieve social change. The business uses creativity and innovation to bring social, financial, service, educational, or other community benefits. This is from one of the authors. What is social entrepreneurship? Not charities or welfare agencies, not just private business established often by venture creators, include often human values rather than just profit, often set up businesses focusing on working with the community by encouraging participation, inclusion, and utilizing a bottom-up approach to achieve social change. Key core elements of social entrepreneurship: created to provide benefits of a community, creates opportunities so people can help themselves as well as others, utilizes sound commercial business practices to ensure its sustainability. The business will naturally uphold and encourage environmental sustainability as well as ethical considerations. So social entrepreneurship, not bound by sector norms or traditions, not confined by barriers that stand in the way of their goals. Develop new models and pioneer new approaches to enable them to overcome obstacles. Take innovative approaches to solve social issues. Transform communities through strategic partnerships. Who are the social entrepreneurs? A path breaker with a powerful idea who combines visionary and real-world problem-solving and creativity, has a strong ethical fiber. Combines street pragmatism with professional skills. They see opportunities where others only see empty buildings, unemployable people, unvalued resources. Who are the social entrepreneurs? Radical thinking is what makes social entrepreneurs different from simply good people. They make markets work for people, not the other way around, and gain strength from a wide network of alliances. They can boundary right between the various political rhetoric and social paradigms to influence all sectors. After all this, the question is, what is the social return on investment for venture creators? Are social entrepreneurs venture philanthropists? What is the investment that makes social returns? What is the investment that makes profits? How do we combine and distinguish them? Where do we start? At the beginning or the end? So social entrepreneurship, commitment, accountability, constituencies, the outcome delivered, the measurable, smart. Social entrepreneurship of hope. Economics with social entrepreneurship of hope. Mission to change economics with a social entrepreneurship of hope is a critical challenge we all face now, all of us in the developing world, I think. Mission to create and sustain social values, not private land. Look for and pursue new opportunities, engage in continuous innovation, act with risk-taking, not constrained by resources. So, social entrepreneurship, combine economic gain with social gain, distinguish characteristics to validate success. Private value versus social value must be investigated very clearly. Private gain and social gain must be really combined, combining philanthropy with commerce. Building community of social entrepreneurs is one in which the building of fruitful partnerships for the sharing of resources is commonplace. Building a willingness to assist other social entrepreneurs in achieving their visions, avoiding the neo-colonial nuances that have typified many non-profit and for-profit scrambles to secure African resources and territory. Clear social value guide to venture creation. A few distinguishing characters: social can meet needs unmet by commercial markets. They work with markets, but not necessarily against markets. Their main motivation is the desire to meet social benefits and environmental benefits, cultural benefits, combined profits with non-profit motivation. So the areas of social entrepreneurship often target find opportunity in most economic sectors. The growth area of social enterprises are identified as environmental, housing, health and care, information service, public service, financial service, training and business development, manufacturing, food and agriculture, food security and agriculture. A few examples: in the USA, the project Housing Opportunities Made Equal, it's called HOME. Social return, more housing for the disadvantaged, fewer complaints. Example 2, utilize underused human capital, new business using former inmates. In other words, those who they were in jail, they come out, they may not get jobs because they had a bad history. Then you need to find some way by which you can rehabilitate them. Social returns, young people not returned to jail, peaceful neighborhood. So global trends: until 1970, very few universities offer social entrepreneurship courses. I hope your university will offer this social entrepreneurship course and social innovation course. The 1980s entrepreneurship, and also good to study what is going on in the different parts of India. I think it's very, very good to do that. 1980s entrepreneurship in general and social entrepreneurship too has emerged as an important element in the dynamics of modern economics in the United States. In the US, from a base of 1970, the number of schools offering entrepreneurship courses in general that includes social has grown to over 400 by 1995. So social entrepreneurship network globally diffusing, UK Community Action Network, the Stanford Business School Social Entrepreneurship Initiative, the Canadian Center for Social Entrepreneurship, the Social Entrepreneurship Development Innovation, CEDI. The Israeli Greenhouse for Social Entrepreneurship, International Institute of Social Entrepreneurship Management in India, and Inter-American Development Bank, the Initiative on Social Enterprise, Harvard Business School. They are all developing this social entrepreneurship course. Social Innovation Network, some trends, Social Venture in Australia, Asia Pacific Center for Philanthropy and Social Investment in Swinburne, and so on. There are many of them that we can do. Why social matters? Creating capability to meet one's own needs, relying less on state, combining with non-profit sector or the third civil society sector, grassroots, bottom-up, self-driven initiatives. Non-profit ventures in the US is very large. It represents more than 1/2 of all non-profit activity. Has 45% of world's non-profit employees. Rich nations tend to have more developed non-profit sectors than poor nations. Government social spending is positively correlated with non-profit sector. In the USA, they have many non-profit ventures and public public benefit organized, religious, charitable, educational, scientific, literary, amateur, sports promotion, prevention of cruelty to animals or children, private schools, houses of worship, social welfare charities, hospitals, mutual benefit organized, local civic leagues, social welfare organizations, employee associations, volunteer fire departments, home owners associations, social clubs, trade organizations, business leagues, chambers of commerce. So global trends, 1 million new ventures a year in the US, 85% of the new jobs in small and startup firms, product service introduction rate higher than ever before, rate of wealth creation exploding, venture creating growing. So we have this, all right, social entrepreneurship venture creation approach. You can see how they can be developed and who could be all the activities that started. From entrepreneurial team, you go to new venture, you create new products and services, all right? You get opportunity market side, the new technology side, the resource side, the venture capital side. They all come together, okay? External, internal shapers also come. The external shapers are this part, all right? And the internal shapers are on this part. Entrepreneurial personality traits, preparation to exploit opportunities, education experience, all right? So the process begins here. And then externally, social climate conducive to social entrepreneurship, political climate that facilitates social innovation, availability of financial and non-financial resources, and then political change, cultural change, economic change, that environment. So these two internal, external factors are critically important for shaping. The orientation is, the different innate education, innovativeness, achievement orientation, independence, sense of control, low risk version, tolerance, entrepreneurial orientation, community awareness orientation, the whole social entrepreneurial orientation comes through. So the comparisons, revenues from government, revenue from philanthropy, and revenues, there are different countries here. And I think you can see what they all have done, yeah? Unfortunately, I don't have India here. I should have included India. So stereotyping social entrepreneurs. Social entrepreneurs are anti-business, they are told. They will be attacked. The difference between commercial and social entrepreneurs is greed. They say social entrepreneurs are non-profit managers. Social entrepreneurs are born, not made. Social entrepreneurs are misfits. Social entrepreneurs usually fail. Social entrepreneurs love risk. So you have this kind of criticisms also, all right? So we have many examples in the US. Main changes that we need to think: money, competition, demonstrating effectiveness, technology, trust, human resource, public sector relations, all these things we need to develop. Demographic efficiency, new philanthropy, heightened awareness of sector, increased social welfare spending through sector, entitlement expansion, welfare reform, explosive growth, attention to marketing and management movements, commercial ventures, development of umbrella organizations, formal education, effectiveness in competing economically and politically. So main risks: identity loss, mission creep, industry concentration, pressure on managers for results, loss of public trust. So I think social entrepreneurs finding innovative solutions to pressing problems of society. They are very useful for finding innovative solutions. They balance economic considerations and social objectives. They aim at transformational systems change that tackles the root cause of poverty, marginalization, environmental deterioration, and accompanying loss of human dignity. Social entrepreneurship very relevant to the youth and unemployed. Social entrepreneurship provides new instruments for civil society. Social entrepreneurship helps coordinate with governments, private sector, and academic institutions, can support more equitable growth in the countries through innovation. So for low-income countries, it helps us to build innovative partnerships, business, civil society, NGOs, social committed individuals, dealing with wealth and poverty, inequality, bifurcated economic conditions, challenges, innovative culture, transformation and reconciliation through promotion, social entrepreneurship, creative space and needs, sustainable development and development imperatives, social justice, poverty eradication, meeting social environmental livelihoods. I think some questions: who among us you can become a social entrepreneur? Be good we find social entrepreneur venture creators from India. I think you should, from your university, I suggest you to do that. How do you find resources? You need to find about that. How do you think to sustain the social entrepreneurship firm you set up at micro, small, medium levels? Social can make you better friends, live up to the challenge, social entrepreneurship from a dream. Let's do it. So some references. Sincerely appreciate the partner, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, and Dr. Sandeep, and all of you at the Central University of Bangalore. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Sorry for taking time, a long time. Thank you. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Is it? I'm finished now.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a really wonderful experience with you. You inspired us by giving so many examples, and from very first startup, that what is social entrepreneur, what is the definition, what is the concept, and how that is using. First of all, your lecture regarding how poverty eradication social entrepreneurs can play important role. And the most important point you told us, without interaction with the industries, we cannot think about the social entrepreneurs and industries. Yes, you also emphasize skill learning, creativity, matching skill. All these are important things. And now that's why I want to stress here, sir. National Education Policy 2020 of India is stressing all these points. That's why we have initiated this course in our university, not for the social sciences, humanities, but science also. We have a specified one foundation course, and now each postgraduate student is required to pass that course. That course is known as entrepreneurship. So, moreover, you have told that many examples about the USA that also emphasize your lecture more important. The most things you told that a social entrepreneur is not only social benefits, culture benefits, but environment benefits also, because now is the era of climate change. We have to think about environment and sustainable development. I cannot accomplish all the words which you have given us, but you have given us such a beautiful knowledge in a very prescribed and simple manner, especially for the students, especially for the students who have just initiated this concept as a social entrepreneurs. So thank you very much, sir, from Central University of Punjab. I really want to thank you. But now I request Professor Dr. Preeti Khetarpal. First of all, I just house is open for question answers. Is there any question, please? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, as you said that social entrepreneurship is not about money. Then in this case, sir, how can we attract the talented people if there are no high salaries for them?
Sorry. Hello. I'm back. Hello? Network. Can you hear me? Hello?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Social entrepreneurship is not
Sorry,
about money.
I had a network
Then
issue.
in this case,
Sorry.
that how can we attract the talented people if there is not high salaries or profits for them?
Please say it again. Sorry. Can you repeat the question, please? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I think on the search, on the... Okay. Oh my God, what's... Sorry. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Oh, can you just repeat the question again? Because I was not... The network...
So, as you said that social entrepreneurship is just not about the money. In this case, how can we attract the talented people if there is not high salaries or profits for them? What is the motivation behind joining of the social entrepreneurship for them?
I see. Okay. I understand your question now. No, the social entrepreneurship is you take one, you give one. In other words, you don't just prioritize profit making and market advantage. All right, and narrow economic gain. You also say the work we do, how is it also affecting, the socially, environmentally? In other words, if you do production with a lot of carbon dioxide, meaning then you impact negatively on the environment. So what we like people to do is not to say you should not make profit or make it, but profit and even those non-profit aspects must also be valued. So there must be a validation criteria that includes profit with non-profit. Something like that is what it is. Not saying that you exclude money completely. No, what it means is do not just go only for money, but also include, really the social and other advantages that come, results that come from the process. So it's actually redefining it. The enterprises are defined as social enterprises, not just individualistic enterprises. The pursuit of individual interest, not that. But that must be, the individual must get engaged in such a way that the advantage that comes makes the individual very happy when the output has impact on society, on many things like that, creating jobs for many people, many things like that. I think that's what it means. It's I don't know how to explain it very well, but not just going for monetary advantage and then just for two people to be billionaires and millionaires. No, for a majority of people being in a suffering situation. No. We need a situation where the inequality is not very high. The poverty is eradicated. Unemployment is removed. Something like that, with a new approach, a new innovative approach, where this social and justice values are actually embedded in the way that we do the economics. It's a new pathway, in a way, that we are suggesting. But this is not easy to do it, I know, because the way things have been happening is that you have many rich people, and then they have corporate social responsibility, and then they contribute and things like that, but they become richer in other ways. But we do not need this kind of situation where charity is for the people, for ordinary people that do not have anything, that they rely on charity, on begging and so on. We need to remove that. Nobody should be a beggar. Nobody should be starving. Nobody should be homeless. Some new approach where we say universally the whole of the people in India, 1 point something billion people, they must really be in that situation. Now we hear, I don't know how the Chinese have done it, but that's what we're hearing. China is now said that there's zero poverty in China. That's what is reported now. They are saying there's none of the Chinese people are poor. That's what we're told. There may be other issues, human rights, all these other challenges, but the poverty side and the economic side, they are now claiming that China has become a rock star, and it's amazing what we're hearing. So what we need to know is we need to also India should be really. Why not? We have everything. So why not also become totally no poverty in India, something like that. But how do we do it? We need to create new approaches where the rich also behave in a different way, and the poor also come out of their way. Something like that is what we need. I hope this is I don't know whether this is I hope you understand me. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Muhammad Ibrahim.
Yes.
I have one question, sir. Are there
Yes.
any fundamental differences in the people who go to work for social versus the startup which is not based on profit?
So the scientists, but we need to use science now. Are there any?
Yes, sir. Are there any fundamental differences in the people who go to work for social versus the startup which is not based on profit?
Oh, I see. The key point is when they do venture startups, and what they do, at least the ones we suggest here in South Africa, is first and foremost, we make them as a team. They must not be just individuals. They must be a group. Minimum 3 people, maximum 5 people. They must be together. Which means, you see, when they even make the profit, they share it, which is good. It's a very good, even the producers share. And then the impact also is we ask them to do it, for example, not in the urban areas or in the whatever, but to go to the bottom of the pyramid, to the areas of the world, the areas in South Africa where it's called townships, and areas where a lot of people are in the informal economy. Then they try to motivate them and develop new enterprises, social enterprises. So by so doing, they're actually making whatever they make, whatever money advantages come out of it, they also are changing the livelihood of the people. If they're doing it, that's very good. I think that's what we suggest. So in a way, it's because all the economies are market driven. So there's no even if you are a social enterprise, you must make profit. That's not a problem. But how you value that profit, how you use it, how you reinvest it, all that matters. And for whom, and who gains, who benefits is what matters. And on that side is what is very critically important. And that must mean, we want to make sure that poverty is eradicated. If you say like that, then even when the economy develops, all right, you develop it in such a way that it actually incapacitates those that are in a difficult situation. That's what it means. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, sir, for nicely defining the term social entrepreneurship. It was a very wonderful lecture. And indeed, there is a need for job creation instead of society, instead of charity, for the upliftment of any country. And naturally, for this, skill updates is as much required as skill creation is. And people need to have a mindset to not only to generate profit, but also to use this profit money judiciously. Thank you so much, sir. So we all of us, we extend our vote of thanks on behalf of Central University of Punjab to Professor Mamu Muchi, Professor of Innovation Studies, South Africa. We also extend our thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Raghavendra P. Tiwari ji for always motivating us to organize such sessions. Thank you so much. I also extend my thanks to Dr. Sandeep Kaur for organizing this session, President IIC Professor Monisha Dhiman for always acting as a team leader, Ms. Usha Sharma for supporting giving us the technical support to organize this session. I also extend my thanks to all the participants, to teachers, to students, to all the non-teaching staff. Thank you very much. And now I request all of you to stand for National Anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्तर बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, participants. Now you can leave, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a nice lesson. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Ma'am Sandeep. Thank you very much for the wonderful talk.